Welcome back to this Shop Mini RC, everybody. I'm Ken, and today we are looking at some 1.0 OGRC pin comp tires and some 1.3 wheels. And I figured I would show you how to mount up 1.0 tires to 1.3 or 1.2 wheels. How to mount up 1.0 tires to 1.3 or 1.2 wheels, or even the 1.8s. 1.8s, you just got to be a little bit more careful on. But this is super simple, especially 1.0s to 1.3s. Most tires, you can literally just cut the bead off. So I'm just going to go through and do it and show you guys. And yeah, should be pretty quick video, pretty easy. But I saw a lot of people asking, can you mount 1.0 tires to 1.3 wheels? And you can. And you can do it without cutting. Sometimes it just will cause the tire to really balloon and have a lot of play side to side, right? You kind of still want some sidewall support. If you stretch a tire out, you can see what happens, right? Like if we were to throw this, here, let's do this, throw this outer face on, and you throw it onto you can stretch it onto there, no problem, right? But you can kind of see it does kind of weird things. It tucks in really deep or pops out. And even if you were to get it to go like that and mount it, once the other side's mounted, you see it'll end up kind of ballooning or making a donut shape out of the tire, which again is fine on some tires depending on what you're trying to do. But other tires, it really just creates a lot of side-to-side floppiness, which is not good, especially the bigger the tire. And some smaller tires, you can get a real fat lip like this. It'll just kind of really kind of push it out. But some people like that look, and if you like that look, go for it. But it's going to hurt your performance for sure. So what I do is I'll generally just cut off the bead on the tire. And that gives you just enough to where you still have plenty of tire to tuck in, because you no longer have a bead now. And if you know on a tire, the bead actually kind of pinches in between your inner ring and your outer faces. And so that bead helps prevent your tire from pulling back out and de-beading or unseating itself from the wheel. So you can see there's this extra thick portion here. And again, that is basically sitting on your rim, and it pinches between the ring, see that, and the outer part of the wheel or the rim of the wheel. Okay, so we just have too much here, and what it causes is, again, ballooning. So if we remove some of that, it'll balloon less, but we don't want to remove so much that the tire will pull out. And I've just found that pretty much on these 1.0s, it's as simple as just trimming off the bead. I turn them inside out so you can easily trim it, and then you just kind of cut around, and you don't have to be perfect, and it's actually not hard to mess this up because you basically just cut it kind of flat. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing, but I just basically go around and cut off that little lip right at the edge of it. Okay. You can see our little lip. Okay. And now it's pretty flat. Okay. So I'll do this side, and then we'll turn them right side out. And you can go too far deep if you go too far in, but I just like to keep it right in that crease, right at the 90 degree where it actually starts to thicken in the rubber to make the bead. Okay. Again, not even close to perfect, right? We can trim this off if we want and try to make it a little bit nicer. Just don't go too far in, because then you might have issues. Now, going on to a 1.3 wheel, you probably won't. Going on to a 1.2, you'd be more likely to have issues. But on a 1.3, you're not going to if you go deeper in. On a 1.2, just make sure you stay tight to that crease, and you'll be golden. Again, it also depends on the wheels. Some 1.2s are larger diameter than others, just by a little bit. And even this, I messed up because I rushed. But you can see it's not perfect, not by any means. And I'm just showing you this so that you're not scared to do it. A lot of people are scared to cut their tires, but look how much material we still have. So if I was to put my ring in there, you can still see tons of material, right? Tons of material left. Which means even when I put this on with this little nip, I kind of went a little deep right there, but I put this on, can stretch this guy right over it, and it sits, look, we still have tons of material in there. It sits perfect. It sits right in there perfect, and it kind of creates a little overlap. And then you can take your other side and you stick it in there and kind of push it back. Now, we're missing all of our inner foams and all that. One thing cool about these OGRC pin comps is they come with kind of a dual stage. They've got this stiff foam on the inside and then this, and guess what? This guy is 1.3. Boom, look at that. So your foam now fits perfect if you pull that inner stage out, which is freaking awesome. Go ahead and stick our foams back in here. Stick our inner ring in here. Make sure everything's sitting nice and flat and nothing's kind of folded or wrinkled in there for the foam. Okay. And then I generally will take and get a little bit of lubricant, whether it's water or literal oil or spit, and we'll just kind of lube up this outside. And then this guy will slide right in there. Boom, no problem. And again, we've got tons of overlap between the wheel rim and then the inner ring on there, right? So, and you can even see our screw holes, which are right there. It's kind of dark in there. They're almost being covered by the tire. So it's almost like you would need to take more, but it's going to be fine. We're going to go ahead and just line up our ring here, and you can do the same thing here. Generally is kind of a good idea. Just kind of lube this up just a little bit so it slides in. And depending on your outer rings, see, these are very shallow outer rings. Some are much deeper, and those are a lot easier to kind of tuck the tire over that ring. These ones, I'm literally just going to set on top, and we're going to, like a true beadlock, we're just going to compress it right on top. Okay, so we're going to make sure it's flat. We're going to get some screws right here, and actually let's get our driver out. That is a Kaiweets electric driver, which is awesome. So we're also going to have a little review video on this. If you want to check that out, we'll probably put it up in the corner over here. But it's a little electric driver with adjustable torque settings. You can literally adjust your torque from very slow and low torque. It'll just stop. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can stop it. Actually, here. And it's got all these bits. They're all magnetic. Ooh, it's a magnetic holder, which is cool. So we need our 1.3 here. And then, yeah, your lowest torque setting, you can just, I mean, it's got like very little torque, so you're not going to break any screws no matter what. That one's almost so low, it wouldn't really be usable on wheels. But then you've got your high torque, and even that, it's not so much torque that it'll break the wheels. Again, we show in the review. That's not what this video is about. But we're going to go ahead and put our screw in here, and we'll just get it started. We're not going to go all the way down. We'll just give it a little bit, just to kind of get it started. And then we'll do a second screw opposite. You always should go in a star pattern, especially when you're doing this, because you're actually going to be pushing the rubber away with your screw a little bit. So we'll go ahead and get that started. Bring it in. We're not going to go all the way down. We're just going to kind of go just enough to where it is almost collapsing. I don't know if you can see that, but there's still some space in there. And then just make sure our tire is nice and even, right? It's not like puffing up on one side compared to the other because the rubber in there is not even. You can just kind of feel it out. And if you have issues, you can back the screws back out a little bit and kind of realign this. Make sure it's nice and flat, everything is even, and I think we're good to go. We'll go ahead and put in our other screws, and then we'll slowly, in a star pattern, tighten it down. Nice thing, too, is this guy's got a light. I do kind of wish this driver had one higher torque setting, and just from a speed standpoint, because this is the highest speed it has, which is also the highest torque. As you turn the torque down, the speed goes down as well. I just kind of wish there's 5 different torque settings. I kind of wish they give you a little bit more higher end torque. But this thing is fantastic for the small scale rigs, 24s and 18s that use M14s, which are these, or M15s or M2 screws. These are perfect. So I'm just going to kind of go around and get them snug. And remember, as you tighten down on these, it's going to compress more, and you do each screw a little bit at a time. That way each screw is helping the next screw go down, so you're not at risk of breaking a screw head off or stripping anything, so you just keep kind of going around. There we go. I think we're golden here. And look at that. Boom. That tire looks great. There's no bulging. You've even got just a tiny bit on some of this where I kind of didn't cut off as much. You can kind of see some of the rubber poking out just a little bit. We've also got these guys done here. I think one of these has the rubber poking out a little bit more than the others. Yeah, right there. You can see it. See that right there? Just a little bit of rubber poking out there. Not a big deal. Doesn't matter. It just means this thing is not coming off. And we're not going to be pulling that out between the wheel and the face and the inner ring and whatnot. It's good. I mean, you'd have to rip the tire to get it out of there, more than likely. So yeah, pretty cool. Again, 1.3 wheels, 1.0 tires, very easy to do. Just need a little bit of trimming. Some tires or wheels may need more or less trimming, but again, I recommend just starting with trimming off that inner bead, that little bit of extra material, and then test fit everything. And then if you need to trim more, you can trim more, but always start by cutting less, because once you cut it, there's no going back. Worst case, if you're going too far, I guess you got to get some 1.8s from Hard Park and make them real thin, because you cut those guys to about right here, all the way up to the bottom of the text. And then, yeah, actually, I've got some right here. Let me show you. Bam. So those are the 1.8s. And again, they're 1.0 tires. And they go on there just fine. No problems. I actually think I'm de-beading a little bit right there. There might be one other spot right there. So we probably need to redo it. I think this tire was actually the first one we did. And we cut a little more than we should have. Which again, it's always a learning process. But yeah, it's easy to do. So to fix this, all we're going to do is unscrew this face a little bit, and then we'll tuck them back in there and then screw it back down. I've also seen some people where they'll take and actually glue the tire just with a little bit of tire glue. Not a lot, and it's not permanent. Just tire glue a little bit to the inner ring, not the face, but the inner ring. That way it holds the tire to the inner ring while you put your wheel face on. You know, once it dries a little bit, then you can put your wheel face on. And it just gives you an extra layer of protection, especially when you're doing stuff like this where it's all custom and things can kind of pull out and do weird stuff. Anyway, easy to do, guys. Don't be scared to cut your tires and make them work for what you're trying to do. That's one of the coolest parts of this hobby, is kind of customizing things and cutting things and making things and, you know, just making it yours, right? So highly recommend it. I also highly recommend this thing. It's like $30. It's freaking cool. You can charge it while it's in the case. It's awesome. Also, I love these tires. Anyway, guys, thanks a ton for watching. Thanks to all of our channel members for being channel members and supporting. You can check them out over here. Those guys are awesome. They get to see all our videos early with no ads before anybody else, as well as sometimes behind the scenes videos and footage and photos and posts, as well as priority comment replies. So when they comment, they get priority replies, and I give them one-on-one help sometimes if they have questions. They have access in our Discord to a specific channel in our Discord. Anybody can join the Discord. So if you want to join our Discord, I highly recommend that. We talk about all things mini RC, whether it's crawlers or bashers or race cars and all the different brands and everything. There's tons of awesome people in there that are very knowledgeable that can help you. We also have a buy-sell channel where if you want to buy, sell, or trade stuff, you can go in there. And yeah, so there's a special channel in there for channel members where it's only them and they get one-on-one time with me. So if you're interested in that and want help, that's definitely the place to do it. I wish I could do it with everybody, but as we grow, it's just hard to reply to all the comments and reply to all the questions, especially when they're in-depth questions. I only have so much time in the day, but I love helping everybody. So huge shout out to everybody that appreciates the help I've given them, because I get a lot of thank yous. So thank you guys, though, for supporting the channel again. And if this helps you, make sure you share it in the group so that it helps other people as well. That's probably the biggest thing you can do next to subscribing and, you know, watching the videos. Sharing it is huge. So like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, then build something awesome, a car, a course, a community, and smash it, crash it, and bash it, but don't break the expensive parts. Peace.